Could the Yankees actually trade this guy? Does it make any sense? I want to know what you guys have to say down in the comments. Now, I love talking Yanks. I really do. I love what they do over there. They were a big inspiration in me even starting this channel, so I give them praise for that. They're great at what they do. However, they mentioned on their podcast that don't be shocked if the Yankees potentially trade away Ryan McMahon. Now, does this make sense? In my opinion, it does not. The Yankees went and got Ryan McMahon so they don't have to worry about third base for the next few seasons. Now, Ryan McMahon, this past year, I mean, it wasn't a good year for him, especially with the Yankees. It wasn't a good year. And that's where I want to highlight his stats. So, obviously, he hit incredibly well over there at Coors Field. Ryan McMahon has a 641 OPS with the Yankees. He hit 208. 4 homers, 18 RBI. Now, that OPS is worse than Anthony Volpe's season OPS. Right? So that's the kind of production that Ryan McMahon gave the Yankees offensively. Now, defensively, Ryan McMahon was stellar. He's one of the best defensive third basemen in Major League Baseball, something that the Yankees did not have at that position for quite some time. So, probably since, I would even go as far as to say maybe since Gio Urshela. Now, I don't think, even though I believe that trading McMahon makes no sense at all because you traded away a couple decent prospects for him, one, and two, as I said, you acquired him with the mindset that he's going to be your third baseman for a few years, so you don't have to worry about that. And if you could have a Gold Glove third baseman with a guy who also hits 20 dingers, but he strikes out a ton too. He struck out 189 times. He struck out more than Aaron Judge did. So anyway, before we move further on, let's head over to Kalshi. Now, Kalshi has the Dodgers beating Toronto, forcing a Game 7. They have the Dodgers at 57%, now at 56%. So let's also look at the awards, which I always love checking Aaron Judge if they still have him to win the MVP. And they do. They have Aaron Judge winning the MVP at 73%. So do me a favor. If you want to support the channel even more, click on the link below to join Kalshi. When you join Kalshi, you'll get $10 for doing that. But use code THESHIFT. So thank you guys so much. But let's move on. So, even though this might not make sense, we have to take into account the credibility that Talking Yanks has. Okay? And you could say what you want about them. And I've seen a lot of negative stuff about Talking Yanks past 24 hours, just from their talk about McMahon and John Boy not knowing who Elmer Rodriguez Cruz was, whatever. But when it comes to McMahon, John Boy has specific sources, right? John Boy, Jake, whatever. They have their sources. They know. They're not, I believe, in my opinion, they're not just going to say anything out of their butt. Now, if they did hear, okay. But I just feel like, and that they did not source this, speculation or this rumor about McMahon potentially being traded. They just said, don't be shocked. And Jake mentioned that this is a luxury that the Yankees just, unfortunately, they can't afford to have. Now, I just think that they didn't just pull this out of their butt, especially Jake, who loves McMahon. I feel like they feel there's something there, just from maybe things that they're hearing, and that's how they conjured this up. Now, is it true? It depends who that source is. We don't know. I don't know. And as I said, I would find it kind of shocking if the Yankees were to move on from McMahon. Because let's face it, I'm not sure it makes any sense. As I said earlier, he's one of the best defensive third basemen in Major League Baseball. There is no denying that. None whatsoever. And why would you trade the prospects that you traded to get a guy who, number one, if even if you wanted to trade McMahon, I believe, in my opinion, because he was so bad with the Yankees offensively, he did have some important hits, but overall, a 641 OPS isn't very good. He wasn't very good with the Yankees offensively that if I'm another team, I'm not taking all of McMahon's money. I'm just not doing it. Because he's not going to hit for me. What will he do? He'll play a Gold Glove third base. That's what he'll do. But he's not going to hit. With the Yankees in 52 games, he had 4 home runs. He played 100 games with the Rockies. If you take that, the 54, and let's say he plays 100 with the Yankees, he hits 8 homers. Maybe a little less. Maybe 7. If you take that over a 100 game span. So I just don't think that another organization is going to say, yeah, I'll take on McMahon and his money. I don't think that's what's going to happen. You could probably trade him. The team's going to take him. No team was going to take DJ, but a team will take McMahon. 30 years old. Someone would take him in a trade, but you would have to eat some money. Now imagine the Yankees at the deadline last year, this past year rather, traded prospects for McMahon, and they took on his entire deal. Now imagine basically dumping him, but also eating some money. He only has 2 years left. But man, I would not want the Yankees to do that. I don't think that would be a responsible move from this team. I really don't. Just because you traded prospect capital for McMahon. And in my opinion, I don't think any other team is going to take on his contract in full. You will have to pay some if you were to trade him. So I'm not really feeling this if this is what could potentially happen. But because it also says, hey, this ended up being a bad deal on our part, let's kind of backtrack here. It would be Brian Cashman backtracking, and a lot of you feel that he has a hard time in doing that. So I don't think he's going to do that either. But we'll see. Talking Yanks, listen, throughout the season, they talk to Aaron Boone once a week. Right? They work for Yes, the podcast, or is at least on Yes. They have something. They probably have some sources. I really don't think they pull this out of their butt. But does this make sense? Even if it's true, does it make sense? No, it doesn't. It doesn't make sense for the reasons that I named. But I want to know what you guys have to say down in the comments. Do you agree? You disagree? Let me know. But thank you guys so much for watching. More content is coming November, probably Monday, November 3rd. World Series will be over, right? I can't think off the top of my head. I guess Game 6 tonight, Game 7 tomorrow. Yeah, it's over by Monday. Off-season starts officially. Let's get going, baby. Content's fun. Content gets so much more fun at that time when the off-season officially starts. So I'm pumped. But thank you guys so much for watching. Take care.